What do you mean?
Today we have a bit of a special one for you guys. Today it is a Ghostface challenge video, and we are once again playing my scary movie Ghostface build or combo or whatever you call it, the cosmetic. And we're on one of the worst maps in the game, and we're running around with one perk. Okay, we're trying to accomplish that tome challenge called Huntress Instincts. So we're essentially only allowed one perk because the 3 perks that we do have available from the challenge pretty much provide 0 value at all in your chases and 0 value at all for slowdown. Yeah, we're doing our best here. We're able to get the hit and the pallet, which is a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. Once again, this is post-commentary, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. We do go ahead and get the knockdown. Now, here is something that you need to take note of. And this is what happens when you don't pay attention to your lobbies when you load in. And you're gonna end up getting blinded, because if I had known that the Nancy was with a flashlight, I wouldn't have actually picked up there. I would have just gotten the hit on Nancy to prevent the blind. Now, we see Zarina slow vaulting out. I just assume it's probably trying to conserve the life. There's no point in even following her because we already lost about a minute of pressure. We would have easily gotten the down and the pallet. We would have easily gotten a ton of pressure, but because of just me not checking the lobby when they load up in their items, that's just my fault, unfortunately. Now, because the survivor here has been watching way too much Aaron and Atemis, they think that corner teching magically works. I really don't know why they decided to do that, but they got themselves down, so that does give us everything we need in order to at least get started with a hook. We are very behind, unfortunately, so we're expecting a generator to be done at this point. Now, the other one did get healed pretty fast, so I'm assuming that either they maybe had a med kit or maybe something like that, or maybe somebody healed them, which would mean that there probably should be a survivor around the main building, I would assume. And as you can probably see, the gen gets done, and then Deadlock activates. The gen that is being blocked is extremely far away, so we won't be able to do much about that. We try to get some stalking on Michaela. She actually does not go for the save. Now, the play here is we try to get them to hit them this time around, but we cannot commit to the chase at all. And the reason I do that is because they have a med kit, so I want them to actually go ahead and use it to buy me extra time while I try to intercept the save here. Now, we try to get the stalk in, but of course we're instantaneously revealed through these 3 different walls, so there's not really a lot you can do about that. But she's the only one that's actually attempting for a save, and we don't really want to M1 just yet. She does end up slamming down the pallet, which is good for me, but it just wasn't enough time to actually get what I needed. And then I think the Meg actually just uses live because of that pallet drop. Now, once again, this is because of Eerie of Crows. We look over, and as you can see, yet another pallet here. And we go ahead and break it. We try to continue to follow, and then as you're going to notice, there's yet another pallet here. Right there. Yep. So we try to go around it, and then because of the, once again, we also got grabbed by Dwayne there, and yet another pallet. So we have that rock there. Dwayne over here just really likes to grab people when they walk past, which I think honestly had cost me the swing there. She starts celebrating even though that she herself is getting stuck on the rock, and then I tried to go for it again, but as you can see, this rock has just absolutely been grabbing both of us when we're running past. And it just goes to show that survivors are just not really aware of how the game operates, because if they're really celebrating a swing that wasn't even, that was normally supposed to connect, but because of the fact that even they themselves got grabbed by the rock, they're just so blissfully unaware that they didn't even realize that was occurring. Now, just due to the timing, we know that they're probably going to be trying to close in for the save again. We try to go for more stalking, but we literally just can't because they have cover. We try to get a different angle, but we end up getting revealed from a completely other angle, which is 2 other people flying around me just to make sure I don't have my power active. And then here's a move that we use because we know Nancy's the closest. We try to rotate this way to push her around the other way to slow her down. We can have just enough distance to actually be able to at least try to cancel the save. Now, if I had gone for the lunge sooner, I potentially could have gotten a knockdown there. That was actually my bad. But thankfully, we were still able to get the Meg out of the game because there's nobody coming in for a body block, so we should be able to just get the down pretty simply. She seems like she's a weakling, so it's a good thing we at least got her out of the game. Unfortunately, though, because it is Eerie of Crows, getting the weakling out of the game is still not enough because yet another gen already flies. And there's not a lot you really can do. And now I would assume that the average Ghostface player more than likely will lose this game. But here I am, you know what I'm saying, I am not the average Ghostface player, and we're going to show you guys how we get it done. Especially with the bad circumstances, and we're using whatever tools we have available to us. Now, the double vault, probably one of the dumbest plays they could have done, which I don't know why they would do that, but it gets them downed, and then they also failed the body block. We get a hit on the Michaela so that she can go heal herself again, because that's what she's been doing at least twice now. And then we actually find out later, once we check out the builds, why that's possible. Now, I would have gone for the slug and then gone for Michaela, but I realized that her healing herself is probably the better slowdown at this current moment, but also we're really extremely behind on hooks. Now, the reason I'm going for the hook here is so I can try to buy time later, because say if I hook this person again, I'll be able to now have them on second state, and that'll create a timer for them to have to come for the save unless they want their teammate to die. So, the idea would be that we try to use that to buy us time later. Now, they do still have to come in for the save, so still at least one person trying to progress a gen, maybe even less than that, because Michaela's been going for a self-heal, I think, probably the entire time. You'll see in the once you look at the builds why it was such a good play too. And then now it's just my assumptions, just off of just knowledge and understanding like what people want to do when they have certain items in their hands, right? So we try to follow through here. We try to fake the vault, fake into the vault, I should say, but she just runs the opposite way anyway, so it wasn't even worth trying to bait them to go for a vault there. Now we at least try to block them here and maybe try to cancel it, but they're just immediately just pushing me out of the way, and we just don't have time to actually get that in there. Now they have live, I'm assuming, or maybe not, but they have this really strong pallet. I just had to break it. It's not a lot you can do, and as you can see, they can just run to yet another pallet. So everywhere where they go, it's extremely safe. And then we try to ruck around this, but you're gonna notice there's a little corner that sticks out by that pallet. And as you can see, they are able to quite literally just stand there. You can't see them, but they see you. And then they can just stand there, watch you go around the wall, and then just vault every time. So there's literally no way you could possibly get around that unless you actively break it. And that is, once again, due to Eerie of Crows and how structures are built, unfortunately. So it makes it very easy for them to do that. Unless it's not even just an Eerie of Crows thing, but that is unfortunately just due to that tile. It's not a lot really you can really do in that situation. Now this clown is just trying to, I don't really know why they were standing there. Maybe they were just trying to bait for a save or something. But either way, we just get the free hook state. Now once again, now we're really in a bad spot because we're playing their game, which is to one hook everybody. And it's not a good play because we don't have any actual pressure because they still have plenty of time to get the save. And then Michaela's already healed up. And the Nancy here is just injured the entire time, but that doesn't really mean a lot because we are in still one of the strongest survivor maps in the game. And we are an M1 killer. Now we break ourselves out of the power. And then we just once again have to break the pallet because it's just not really that super easy to mind game, especially when that rock is just grabbing onto you. It's really just not a lot you can do. We try to hide the light here, but once again, as I've been saying multiple times, it's extremely safe. Because even though they vault, and they can still make the fast, we do vault in to get them to slow down, but it doesn't really matter. Because now, as you can see, they just run the other way. So it doesn't even matter if you tried to bait another vault in, because it doesn't affect them. They can just then run to the next thing. Which is, once again, the TNO. This gen is also about halfway, so we are in an extremely bad spot. Now, keep in mind that, you know, like I've said before, the average Ghostface more than likely may not win this, but this is why I want to show those guys and all the Ghostface players when they're new, that even with bad perks, you can still make something happen. Now, they did end up getting the Huntress Lullaby out. It's not like it was doing anything anyway. And we at least attempt to try to get another hit on, well, actually, if we can stock up Michaela, I should say, that would have been the better play, which is what we're doing. We go ahead and get her 99. We try to, like, see, because they can see me pretty much from that wall, so we try to make it look like we're going that way. I think she panicked, I should say, after that mark. Starts flying the other way, and then we just immediately down her. And then we try to put them toward the gen in the back over here, because you can see this Nancy's once again back on the gen. I'm assuming it's resilience, because why would they want to stay injured the whole game? And the problem with resilience is that if you regular players didn't know, resilience actually will speed up their hitbox. So, you know, times where you're about to, say, hit a survivor, normally that would connect, but if, you know, because of resilience, they're moving their characters a lot faster, so then you don't really end up getting resilience. I mean, you don't end up getting any hits because of resilience, because of that. And that's also why when it was combined with Made for This, it was such a strong combo, such a broken combo, I should mention, was because they were moving 3% faster than normal, and then on top of that, their little hitboxes were moving faster than normal. So it was kind of ridiculous. Now, thankfully, because you're gonna notice if you actually have a keen eye and you're aware, you know what I'm saying, you'll notice that they have a god window from the shack side, right? As you can see, they have the shack window becomes a god window because of the fact that it's facing the map. They have the pallet, and thankfully, this, despite the fact that she made a massive blunder, a massive mistake, she has once again a second chance to completely cancel out all of that in one single button press. So you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, this is the game for you. So, nice. But thankfully, because she's so horrendous at looping, as you can see, at least allowed me to get rid of 2 pallets that could have been a nightmare if it was anybody else that was in that area. Now, thankfully, this area at least is pretty easy to mind game, thankfully. And I had figured as much, so we were at least able to get the down here to try to create a little bit of pressure, but once again, not much. Now, they are on second state, so that is good. We're at least getting hooks in, and that's what we need. And we're actually able to at least mark the Nancy here, because we're close enough. I probably should have pushed them maybe toward the shack. Actually, no, because there's pallets here. We try to mind game it here, but it just doesn't really matter. It's still a very safe pallet. Now, it probably isn't as safe as I claim, but it's still just, we just don't have the time, is ultimately what it is. We just did not have any time. If we had a little bit more gens, it would have been all right. And as you can see, we try to fake it there, but it doesn't really matter. You can quite literally just camp that wall, and that's it. I mean, there's not really much you could do, because they just have check spot galore. Now, thankfully, they were able to at least, you know, run past us. He tried to dead hard. We knew that was coming. And then we have to go ahead and give them the bags. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give them the bags, because they deserve it. After seeing that clown using dead hard before, I was completely aware of it, and I was like, yeah, why should be way more than just one? Because you gotta, like, it's a lot of the time with these meta perks. It's never just one person. It's always at least 3, at bare minimum. So you already know. It's always at least 3 people running the same build. So that's why we keep in mind that, you know, especially if they start running towards you, don't swing. Just don't swing. You know, just don't, please. Because you're only getting yourself, like, you're only losing pressure by yourself. So this one's gonna start with the walking. We're trying to go from a different way to throw them off, but I don't think it really makes a single difference because they can just run off. So, and I'm assuming they could just see me pass by, just through the I don't know, the bricks or something, the window, who knows? Like some angle, they'll always be able to see you. So it wasn't a lot I could have done there, and especially because it's Area of Crows, or it's a very bright and sandy map, so it's not like we're literally able to at least get the visual advantage in that sense. Now, we try to at least maybe hide behind the tombstones to give us a little time for more stalking, but it just doesn't work. We essentially have no power in this map. Now, here's the other problem that we once again are going to face, because we're hiding the light. We do all right, we do pretty well. But because of Dead Hard, we can't just go for the swing, because they can just press the button before they reach the window, and their animation will give them that distance, right? Give them that time to have endurance, and then we can't even get the swing, which completely invalidates the chase. So we're basically having to keep an eye out for it, but they can quite literally just sit there on the check spot, make the vault, doesn't really matter, and then run right back. So it's not even worth chasing. It was a complete waste of time, and then we lose a gen in the process, and the gen that, once again, thankfully for Deadlock, is 99, but we're at least able to hold the gen back from, you know, completely losing the game. We get the hit on her, so she goes to heal herself again for like about the 3rd time. Of course, Nancy's trying to hide behind the gen to try to get it done. Thankfully, we have Deadlock active, and this is the one perk that I would say that at least can help us out here. Now, our only option in this very specific situation is quite literally just wait out Deadlock so we could give it a kick ourselves, because we literally have no other choices. We literally are stuck in this predicament because of just, obviously, I have to say, the map does provide a lot for the survivors. And keep in mind that we don't really have our power half the time because it is very easy to be revealed. Now, unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. The map spawned in a very, very strong way, and we are still ultimately an M1 killer. Whether they're injured, marked, or healthy, you know what I'm saying? We still have to get the M1 with our footwork, with our knowledge, with our positioning, you know what I'm saying? So, now we're going to go, here's a play, another strategy I try to do, because Michaela's trying to lead me away, but I bait that to get them to close in. She got greedy and actually touched the gen, which gives me enough distance to get the swing. We have to make sure we keep our eyes on the gen so they don't come back. She'll just run off and do whatever. But we have to keep an eye out. Now, we know Michaela's there. We know at least where 2 people are. We just don't know where Nancy is. She's probably hiding in the background. And then Michaela comes in to try to tap the gen again. But thankfully, you know, because of the gen kick changes, it'll have time for it to regress, and I'll have enough time to go after Michaela. Now, you're going to notice here that this is another survivor strategy that they're going to utilize. They're trying to lead me as far away from the gen as possible, try to get hooked as far as possible so that they can buy their team as much time as possible. As I've said in many videos, we utilize strategies in this channel, okay? And if you watch the channel, you understand what I'm talking about. Everything we do is for the strategies. And you can see survivors are also utilizing strategies themselves. So you should also be utilizing strategies as well. And now, as you can see, we mark up the Nancy so that they can't reveal me. And then we try to use that to go to their teammate because they were completely unaware. She was really trying to fly to the window, which thankfully we were able to actually get them out of the game because of that. Now, all that tells me is that they're running dead hard because it's a crutch and because it's an easy perk to use on most killers, because a lot of the time, a lot of killer players, unfortunately, may not play optimally or may not play the most intelligently, unfortunately. So, you know, they will end up hitting that person with dead hard, probably the second time or whatever have you. You know, they just kind of fall for that running into them bull. So, which, to be fair, I had gone for the swing myself, mainly because of the fact that they already made a mistake and I was already knowing that I should have gotten the down. But because of perks, obviously they can just completely delete that. Which is why I'm showing it to you guys, so you understand what to look for and use it as a learning experience for my mistakes that I'm making. And, you know, obviously we use that, you know what I'm saying? Now, we're in obviously because of the fact that I was in a very bad situation, we had a really bad map, no perks. I probably wasn't the most confident in my chances of winning, so that obviously will make you make a few mistakes if you don't believe in yourself. And that is a very key component, especially in any game you play, in anything you do. Believe in yourself so that you don't make any slip-ups because you're, you know, not fully confident in yourself. Little life lesson. So, with that being said, we are at least able to get this gen to regress quite a bit. They haven't really came back to rotate. Now, Michaela's once again utilizing the same strategy as I mentioned before, which is to try to lead the killer as far away from the objectives as possible to try to buy their teammates time. And unfortunately, because this is area of pros, they do end up having a lot of options, especially with this top area with the God palette. So we're forced to break it because you literally can't go around it. And as you can see, they're running as far as possible to try to buy their teammates time. Now, because we already know that, we try to leverage that to our side by leaving them there and try to see where the next teammate is, so we can go for that down and completely end the game. But because, you know, the Nancy does know about our add-on because we used it earlier, she's going to try to stay as hidden as possible and more than likely hide behind the gen because they're able to do that on that particular generator. So what I decided to do was we break out a shroud, we pick them up, we put them on the hook in the main building to push them, to pull them away from the generator if they want to go for the save. And then while she's there, we either can check on the gen, kick it, do whatever we need to do, or we can find the Nancy and then chase her, and then that'll be the end of the game because the other one's already dead. So then we'll still be able to get our challenge, and even if they somehow find Hatch because behavior likes doing that by giving them Hatch, we'll still be able to get a win here. Now, once again, we know that we can't really go for the swing here. We're too far. Now, because it is a God window, we do have to vault through it, unfortunately, so they are able to get a free blind because of that. And we also notice that they love abusing the check spots. So what we try to do here is just try to show the light for a second, make them hesitate. Thankfully, I swung over pretty much away from them to bait the dead hard, but unfortunately, just due to not having resilient, unrelenting, my bad. I was not able to get the follow-up, which sucks, but, that's all right. Now, we are at least are able to say there are no pallets in this area, thankfully, due to her teammates, and then we were able to get the knockdown. Now, here's where I begin to celebrate, because it was a hard-fought win, especially when every single thing was stacked against us. We were able to leverage it to our side, kick the gen with the most progress, and celebrate by giving them the craziest amount of teabags of their lifetime, like an old blowout sale, like it's going out of style. And it was about like 4 minutes, I would say, that I was just sitting there bagging them, waiting until their bar was at the very, very, very tippity top end. The very end of their bar. And then here's what we really like to sauce on them, because now, after waiting out their entire health bar, I thought, depending if they were to wiggle, we're going to bring them all the way to the basement, and just for the extra seasoning, and also because I want the extra points, but also just so we could really get the extra salt in there by dragging them all the way to the basement to get them on the hook. And we make sure to give them the one in the back too, the extra, the extra seasoning, give them the hit, give them the know, what I'm saying, hit them with everything we got, because we earned our win. And I'm gonna make sure I go ahead and utilize. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the builds that they were utilizing. There you go, that they were using. And we also got our daily. It's a humongous payout, by the way. We got the challenge, as you can see, Huntress Instincts. And we also got the daily as well. So we got a gigantic payout, which will definitely help towards our thing here. So we're going to go ahead and pause and see what we have here. So we have Deja Vu, I'm assuming that is, Circle of Healing, Dead Heart, and Windows of Opportunity with a medkit with a syringe. Nancy running one of the sweatiest builds, Dead Hard, Resilience, Adrenaline, and Made for This. And it's like I had assumed earlier, because her animations were so quick that I was like, yeah, there's no way I even could reach with that lunge around the wall. Top it off with the check spots, it would be pretty much impossible unless you completely eliminate those options and get rid of her teammates first. Michaela was running, Built to Last, Empathy, Off the Record, and Windows of Opportunity with a green medkit. So, thankfully, because of the strategy I was utilizing, I noticed that she kept trying to heal herself every single time she got hit. So what I had done was I would hit her, she would have to go recharge her medkit after the first time of using it, which would mean she would have to sit in the locker for a little while, get it recharged, go back out, and then actually have to start healing herself to actually, get healthy again. And that was one of the things I tried to utilize to slow them down as much as I could. And then we can see that Meg was the weakling because she had Kindred, Windows, We're Gonna Live Forever, and We'll Make It. And We'll Make It is going to give them at least 100% healing speed for about 90 seconds, unfortunately. It does stack with Circle of Healing, so it does make healing very, very, very fast. But thankfully, we were able to get rid of them as soon as possible. And this is honestly why I tell you guys in all the videos to utilize the strategies and stop caring about what survivors think. Stop caring about what the survivors have to say, because they are running, these are the builds that they run every game. These are the kinds of builds you're going to see, at least the level I'm at. This is the type of lobbies I end up getting. Constant adrenalines, Dead Hards, Windows, Resilience, going against it as a killer, you're going to end up noticing that they just kind of always know where the next thing is. And when you are on a map like Eyrie of Crows, especially with that variation that I got, it was pretty much a nightmare. I mean, they always knew where to go, and it was the strongest things they could go to. So it was extremely difficult to, and they could chain it. They could chain all those loops, and especially when you're playing an M1 killer, it makes it extremely difficult. But we were still able to come out on top due to our skill and being able to utilize different things and strategies and understanding the awareness of what certain people want to do. Now, thankfully, we were able to notice that, because it's just all off of awareness. I figured if there's one Dead Hard, there's probably more. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of reminds me of like some kind of exterminator kind of thing. If you notice one, there's probably more. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it is with these second chance perks. If you see one, there's probably multiple. It's never just one person. It's usually at least 3 minimum. But with that being said, I'm going to try to jump into the next game, and then we're going to go ahead and take a little look-see. So here we are for the second gameplay, because I actually ended up finding the challenge again within the tome challenges that I was looking for. And our totem kind of spawned right next to us, so we know it's most likely going to be destroyed within the first like 30 seconds of the game starting. And that's just due to the nature of the totem spawns, unfortunately. But with that being said, we are once again utilizing the same build. We did change the add-on for a cooldown add-on to at least give us a little bit more pressure here, unfortunately, just due to the angles. They can just kind of see me there, but thankfully we're just gonna try to follow through and get the hit, which is great. And then we're able to get the hit and the pallet, which is a wonderful start. We have the matchbook add-on to give us cooldown, which is really good for us. And then what we try to do is hide the kind of use their undetectable here, and then he does fumble because he's trying to reveal me. We use that to our advantage, and then we go ahead and get the hook going. Now, I decided to try to put him next to the gen that he was working on, which would be toward like maybe the center of the map. Maybe you might be able to catch somebody closing in. Now we do end up losing a generator. It could have either been maybe 2 people spawning on it, or just because it couldn't have been that slow to get that down. Or maybe it was, who knows. But either way, we know that they're probably going to have to rotate around from that location to try to get toward us, to get toward the save, but they already got them off the hook. So as you probably know, we're going to utilize the strategy by going after the person who was unhooked to try to apply as much pressure as possible. Now, we do see the Quentin in the background, but we're trying to find David, who's actually over there, so we just go ahead and focus, because he's obsessed with trying to reveal me. When he's already injured, we already have what we need, so we hide the light, go that way, try to hide it again. It does actually make him kind of fumble there a little bit. We do try to go for the swing, just to bait the pallet out, because we want to get as many as we can. But he makes a ton of distance for that. Which is honestly why I run the build I always run, because it does help eliminate some of that free distance they make from just doing absolutely nothing. We didn't even break it, so can you imagine if we broke the pallet? It probably would have took even longer. So we got rid of yet another pallet, but we are able to at least close the gap a little bit. He does end up making the vault because it's just distance, I guess. So we try to go ahead and fake it, go for the vault here. It does seem like there's somebody. Oh wait, no, wait. We do show the light there. He just kind of waits for some reason. Not a smart play. We do have the right angle here. He does run away. I think we're doing all right, but it's just a lot of map structures here that have a lot of safe areas. But thankfully, which I assume he might have dead hard, so we just go for the swing around the corner, and then we just face that way. Now, once again, they try to background player, drop the stun. Thankfully, they missed. Because, of course, as you can, in classic Survivor fashion, they always have a second chance up their sleeve. But thankfully, it failed. Because I tried to, always try to, like, spin around and throw them off so they don't know exactly which angle I'm going for. Now, we do have to get rid of some of these pallets, just due to the nature of the game. Now, I consider Ghostface to be a chase killer, just like Freddy, Myers, etc. So, we do need. So, I honestly recommend using a lot of chase perks with those characters. Things that help you with slowdown and chase are the 2 main things that make them strong. Compared to maybe passive slowdown, like Pig or Legion. Now, we did get the hit on Quentin, which is solid, but we do want to keep our distance so they don't have anti-camp. The other one is up there. We do see a third person closing in. We might be able to cancel it, which is really good. I was max distance going for that lunge there just to make sure. We do end up hitting the Vittorio, so we're actually able to knock him down as well. And we can just go ahead and go for David again. So we can try to push the game to our side as much as humanly possible. Now, thankfully, this map isn't as broken as Eerie of Crows, so we're at least able to, utilize our strategies in the right way, and we're able to utilize one strategy here, which was zoning them away from the main areas, while also eliminating their resources one by one. And then the further they run, the more to the corner of the map they go, so it makes it even harder for them to be able to make anything happen. Quentin is trying to get a body block in, because of course they do. We just hit him so he can just get out of the way, and then we just kind of keep an eye out. Now keep in mind, they're trying to divert my attention to Quentin. And while he does that, David's going to fly the other way. We don't fall for that. We continue to go for David, because we need him out of the game as soon as possible. We are very behind. We should have gotten a kill by 3 gens already, right? So with that being said, knock him down. Or no, of course not, you know. Yeah, but our perk does activate, so that's kind of cool. Maybe that might throw them off, but thankfully they died next to a wall, so we were able to just go ahead and face that, so we can't be blinded. And then we can just put them on the hook right by the shack and get them out of the game. Now everybody's still injured. You notice somebody's been running around the shack. I think it was Vittorio, if I'm not mistaken, who I'm not really entirely sure what the hell he was doing, but we were still able to utilize. You know, the fact he's still injured with a medkit in his hand, and we were able to get a kill. We put him on the hook now, and then we can just go ahead and seems like he was trying to go for yet another blind with a flashbang this time. Once again, that fails, which is solid for me. Now, normally flashbangs are pretty broken. Like you can really place the flashbangs directly behind killers for some reason, and it'll still blind them either way, which I don't really think makes a lot of sense because they're not even looking at the light. But hey, this game doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're at least getting some more stock on Vittorio and maybe Quentin, because I figured they would have to be healed up at some point. So we release, and Vittorio actually kind of throws here because he actually went to go touch the gen instead, and so it's pre-dropping out of fear, and that's something we want to see. So we continue to go after him. He's just making it a bigger dead zone, which we just immediately eliminate because we just want to get as many resources out as possible. We fake that way, make him go to the right, which is awesome. And then he doesn't have any choice. We, of course, once again, another second chance from behavior, dead hard, of course, which obviously buys him extra time, just because of the nature of dead hard being a crutch. Now we know that because his pallet's down, she's gonna either try to go for it or fake it, but we're close enough to get the lunge, so we're at least able to get that hook here toward the back corner of the map, which is probably one of the strongest hooks we have available to us. We put him there. And then we can go ahead and rotate around to get that, to break that pallet, because we don't want them to somehow have that option again and then buy themselves even more distance. We have to get rid of that. We have to break the gen, let it regress in the meantime, and then we can, you know, while Vittorio's busy mending and doing whatever nonsense he's doing, Quentin will have to be coming in for the save eventually, while we continue to check on the generators to make sure that they continue to regress in the meantime. Very important to do that. Now, something that I noticed that I may fall into as well, sometimes I'm just having fun actually playing the game and being in the chase, that you do end up forgetting about generators. You cannot do that. As fun as it is, you know what I'm saying? Because that is the fun aspect, at least that I find in the game, is to be in the chase. It's, unfortunately, the way that the game goes, you can't always have fun. So if you find yourself having fun, just try to make sure that you keep an eye on those gen counts and be like, okay, like, have I checked on a gen in a while? You know, very important, unfortunately. At least at my level that I'm playing at. Now, I would normally go for the stalk here, but I figure I might as well just get the M1 if I can, and the shack pallet. It's better to let him go heal himself and get the second slate on Nia, and stalk up Quentin some more, so that once he does end up getting himself healed up again, we'll be able to just one-shot him while we go and can try to intercept the save on the Nia, which they ended up leaving her on the hook. And that actually gives me everything I need, so then we actually go ahead and try to see if we can catch her. We should know that they're healing here. Now, as you can see right here, we're just following her. Yep, of course she dead hards. You know what I'm saying? Because like I've said, if you see one, there's probably more. So that's why we want to be patient and wait it out. Get them on the hook, get them out of the game, and then we're down to 2 people at the 3 gen mark. Now, this map is still also not that great, but it is still better than Eyrie of Crows, and that is something we can really bank on. It's a lot easier. Notice, I would say, it's a lot when it's not Eyrie of Crows. Killers can at least have a better chance of actually creating a better dead zone and actually punishing bad plays, compared to a map that has 1,000 pallets that can't really be countered, i.e. the game. So we release this is a pretty strong pallet. They can see you the whole time. I mean, there's no hidden, so we're just kind of doing like some spinneroos, you know, trying to get them to drop the pallet. Why not? And then we try to see if we can find where the Quentin went, because the last I saw him was around, I would say, shack side. So I figured he would want to rotate back toward that generator that was being worked on over there in that corner of the map. But it doesn't really seem like he was actually going to do that. Maybe he's still healing himself, or maybe he ran away. And the reason for that is also I wanted to get the 4K. So I figured it would be better to just make sure I check on the gens, make sure they continue to regress. Like, just don't let me, you know, lose any gens from me just trying to find people. It takes too much time. So we just patrol the gens, we make sure we kick them all, just to make sure they're all regressing. So the less time they're on the gen, it will give them like some kind of punishment downside, like cause and effect, whatever you want to call it. It's the same way, like if you say if I'm playing a fighting game and I miss a swing, and that's my issue with this game. You're gonna hear this. Is that if I make a mistake and I'm playing a fighting game and I whiff or I make some kind of blunder or I mess up, I should honestly see a consequence for that, and it should help me learn to be better in the future. But that's not something we see in a game like this. And thankfully we are able to get the mark on Vittorio, which is really good for me. He tries to fake the window, we don't fall for that, and he just runs into a rock like a damn bozo. And then Quentin actually goes for completing the generator, which I had assumed he would have done so. But I just didn't realize that it would have taken him so long to get there. Unless he did without me noticing, which is quite possible. And he also somehow just Houdini's out of the way, out of this area, which is unfortunate. Now, from where we see him, and here's where it was really interesting, because when I spotted him, he was in a strange spot that I was like, how the heck did he manage to not only heal himself, but also be in that area, like when I went to go find him. Because I had rotated toward where they were, where the person was injured, so I was thinking they got healed, which was a little bit strange. But now we see them over there, which from further inspection, right? Because I noticed this in me recording this right now, is that one of my perks activated. It might have been territorial imperative, I think, activated. So they were in the basement apparently, and I just didn't see that because I even heard like a crash sound, like a boom, and I didn't know what it was. And when I looked around, I didn't see anything. And we obviously got the down on Quentin. But I'm thinking I'm gonna have to check his perks. Maybe he had distortion, because I would have seen the aura. I would have assumed due to the fact that it's supposed to give you aura readings. So we're actually gonna go ahead and check the build for this as well, and then we'll close out the video. But as you can see, yeah, they're all on the hooks. Let's make sure we give them a nice little hit there, and let's also make sure we sit back and see if they have any 4% in their up their sleeve, because behavior always has to give them that too. And it looks like they don't, so that's good for us. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut to the builds. All right, so let's quickly go over the builds, and it seems here that we have a lot of meta BS here, huh? Well, let's go ahead and give it a little gander here. We're gonna go ahead and pause real quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and take a quick look here. So, off the bat, we have Windows. I'm assuming Deja Vu and Kindred and Dead Hard. Quentin running Distortion, which makes sense because the only aura reading the perk ever got, and it still got canceled. And then Dead Hard, Decisive, and Kindred. Resilience, background players, flashbang, and Windows, of course, and yet another one with the same exact build, pretty much, except Dead Hard is like swapped over there for something else compared to background, or no, actually no, yeah, except Resilience. Instead of Resilience, they ran Dead Hard. So as you can see, they're all running the same copy pasted builds pretty much every single lobby, and we still came out on top, and we were still able to do what we needed to do, and why we utilize the strategies, and we're also dealing with this slightly less difficult map, so that definitely does help out. But yeah, I mean, this is why I tell you guys to always utilize strategies and don't really care about what the survivors are going to say to you, because these are the builds that they're running, and they're incredibly ridiculous. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have learned something. With that being said, hopefully I'll see you in the next video.